Hey guys, welcome back to the Pure Goddess channel. My name is Gwenly. So like how I was saying about spiritual warfare starting again for us, for people that resonate with what I'm talking about. If you feel anxious and paranoid, you feel like something is coming. There is a difference with having that anxious, excited feeling. Like there's something good that's gonna happen in your life, but you don't know how soon or not. But blessings are coming in, right? But then there's this other feeling of preparing yourself, putting on your armor, getting ready as a warrior. A warrior, a chosen one, will learn how to always be prepared. And every day and night, and every time of our day and night, even when we're sleeping, we are always prepared to fight those demons, to fight those spirits that are coming up against us. And I know that, the more you elevate, the more you get closer to your purpose. The more you're gonna get attacked. And the warfare will be stronger, right? Because there's gonna be stronger evil spirits, higher ranked devils, demons that are gonna try to come up against you. And that's just the truth. Thank God, thank my angels and ancestors of the highest white light who have prepared me. And that is the reason why I am elevating, I am getting closer to my purpose. And I am also getting closer to, which brings me to an emotional state. I'm coming closer to the fact that I'm getting ready to cut my own blood out of my life. My parents, my siblings out of my life. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago about being in this karmic cycle and feeling, this friend was telling me how, his family doesn't support him. His brother, watches his posts, his stories, and he don't say nothing. He's not supportive. you know? Like, we know, honestly, we know the truth. We know that they're haters, right? They're karmics. They want you to do good, but not better than them. And the honest truth is that they're shit, basically. They're nothing compared. And these past few days, I've just had, having that conversation and talking about karmic cycle, right? It's like you're going back and forth with your family members. You love them. You have a pure heart. You have a big heart. You want the best for them. You give everything to them. Even if you have money or you don't, you give all you have to them. But it's not enough. You're always going to feel empty-handed. You're always going to feel like you are nothing. You leave feeling worse than how you came in to help them. To even just be in their company. I've always been a loner. I've always felt so alone because my own family, they've been my enemy my whole life. They've been my bullies my whole life. They've done witchcraft and spell work against me my whole life since I was a kid. And the number one spell work, number one witchcraft is using your tongue, right? To verbally speak things into existence. Talking about people behind their backs, betraying them, and just always having negative thoughts and, just negativity towards that person. It's a mind fuck because I've met so many people. I've met majority of the people I've met in my life. They have family members like this. And it's like a mind fuck, gaslighting, that their family members do to them, because you meet strangers and they're haters. You see that they're haters. You experience them being haters, right? And it's just like whatever, right? Because you don't owe them anything. You know that they're not gonna be in your life for a long time. So you don't give a shit. It doesn't bother that much. But when it comes to family, we look the other way. And I don't think that's right? It's like we get gaslighted by our own family members to be treated like shit. And this past week, I've been more distant and more detached from my family because I've been getting closer, thank the Lord, only by him revealing and actually opening myself to taking in this purpose of mine. Like, how would I even explain? I've been gifted this purpose, this vision. It's been in and out of my life, just like the fogginess that comes in and out of your life. Sometimes you can't see clearly because you're not there yet. It's not your time. It's not divine timing. It's not the right timing. That God is, he is gonna let you know when the right timing is, right? And this week has been the right timing for me to find out, to, like, the clouds just like went away and I saw clearly what my purpose is. And it was a very beautiful thing. And I have trouble with being, it's gotten better, my patience, but I'm a very impatient person. And when when you know the unknown, when you know things before they occur, you have to be so disciplined. You have to be very patient, extremely patient. And that's one of the hardest things for me, right? And just having that control of knowing what's going to happen in the near future, what's about to occur, but you're not able to speak upon it. You can't mention it, It's not here yet. And that's been really, really hard for me. And I'm just happy, like, it's a reward for me. It's a gift from God that he has let me see clearly what one of my purposes is here. And I truly feel it within me. It's unexplainable. The overwhelming feeling that I have. And that is a big shift, a positive, beautiful shift that we get within. And with that shift being within, your outer appearance is gonna also change, And this past week has been super, super, like, so many changes, so many things up and down, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. And that's why I say that, that those attacks are coming. They're starting again because of this big shift. I mean, I have so much hate. The hate is real. If I post one picture of my beautiful self on social media, there we go again. I don't even have, like, I'm not a wealthy person. Materialistically, I'm not. But it's getting close to that time where I have to let go of my family. I feel it. It's not that I'm not able to handle or stand them. But my shift changed. That shift changed this week. I've elevated. And, like, I physically cannot have them in my life anymore. And it's a very hard thing to do. Let me tell you why. even though my family is who they are, I I I am a single parent who has zero support. I don't have my son's father here, so he is no, physically, he's no help at all, right? He's not able to help me with my son for the most simplest things, taking him to daycare, picking him up, things that will impact my work life, right? So if my son's daycare is closed at 5 and I'm off at 5, I can't work at that job because who's gonna pick up my son? Unless I ask for help from my family. That is the major reason. That's one of the, the reasons why here in a 3D that they're still in my life, because they could help me in that way. Do I need them? No. If I take them out of my life, things are gonna be okay. It's, but what if there's an emergency? What, like all these ifs and buts and doubts. I've tried about 3 times since I moved back to Oregon. I've stopped talking to my family for 3 months maximums, on and off, on and off. And I've had so much peace in my life. I've felt their attacks, but because they're no longer in my life and my energy, that energetic cord, that connection was cut off for that short period of time. And that felt so right. And I think that's just something that, even my son loves his grandfather because it's the only role model he has that's a masculine, a male in his life, right? So he really enjoys his company. They do fun activities, and that's something else that, yeah, when the day comes, it's gonna be a little sad for my son, for me to see my son sad. Like, you're not gonna see your grandparents anymore, And that's okay for me. Emotionally, I've been detached from my family, and I've just been very, like, if you give, I give, And if you give me negative, I'll either give back the truth to you, or I just stay quiet and mind my business and leave the premises. Leave your home or wherever we're at, because I'm not gonna deal with that, But I know that at the end of the day, they're not meant. It's just when you are being elevated by God, people, and not everyone could go with you. And that's why I'm so good at detaching them. Because I've had to detach from so many people in my life who weren't good for me. I had codependency issues, Codependent on people in relationships. And, I've learned how to not be codependent and just be independent, It's taken a lot. My family trained me. My family, I mean, every quality that a woman could, like, you know, like, not a good quality for a woman to have, they've tried to put that upon me my whole life. I resonate so much with the story of Cinderella because I've always been that sister, that stepsister who cleans and takes care of the house and all these things. And you know, I grew up, I left my home, and my sister is 9 years younger than me. Did she ever do any cleaning around the house? You know, she's my half sister. But I helped raise her, you know? I've seen her grow up. She's always lived with us. You know? My siblings have never done any type of chore around the house, any type of work, only me. And after I became like a young adult, after the age of 19, 20, when I finally like left the nest and like flew away from home, that's when I started realizing how I was treated and raised in my own household. Like, if I was the second child, like the stepchild, and treated like a third world country. And that was all done purposely by my parents, you know, by my mother, by my stepfather. My own father, my own mother have attacked me my whole life. My father not living with us, my parents were separated when I was young. He was a messenger. He was like my best friend growing up and talked spiritually about everything. He taught me a lot of things, but his mask fell off last year. And he finally showed his true colors, and I was like, damn, you were the only person who I believed and trusted and looked up to in my whole life. You know? I know one of my purposes is to break these generational curses. And it's a mindfuck because you're doing this for your family. You're doing this for the generations to come, especially if you have children. It's even more important. You fight harder. You become that warrior. I know in my family lineage, there's the spirit of like of not being motivated, not being able to you know, you start a project, you start something, but you don't finish it. I think that that's a really heavy one for me. Depression, mental illness, anxiety, lack of motivation. I know I need more healing to be done. But I've healed a lot. I've healed being abandoned by your own family, being abandoned by every single person. And my world shattered when I finally saw who my father was to me. Who he really, truthfully, was to me. And that just did it for me. And this past year, I've learned how to have boundaries, how to have healthy boundaries to protect myself, but also being reasonable and also being, making a choice or decision about a boundary. But before, you have to balance the pros and cons. You have to balance before you put a boundary down, right? Because sometimes people trigger, or experiences, circumstances, places, things, you are triggered. You have a triggering moment. And you just emotionally you react, right? You have a mental reaction. But in order to protect me and mine, to protect myself spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, boundaries are important to have. Boundaries are necessary to protect yourself and what's yours, which for me is my family. Because I have no one. That I could call and they will be there in an emergency. It's just me. I know I'm protected, and it's taken a lot in a long time for me to let go, literally to let go and have that faith that God and my angels and ancestors of the highest white light have my back. They're not gonna let me down. And I've put myself down sometimes, and I've gotten depressed because that's the reality. And I've put myself in, I've thought about it, and I've just gotten sad. It's like I have no one. Here in the physical world, I have no one who has my back. And as a 30-year-old woman, as a single parent, when was it? At 29 years old, I realized I've never had anyone. I've never had someone who's had my back 100% ever in my whole life. Since I was very young. Obviously, your parents have to raise you. In the practical way, give you food, cook for you, bathe you, have a roof over your head, have clothes, have a warm home, warm bed, all these things. But everything else, I've never had it in my whole life. So I am so proud of myself. And I know I'm not the only one. I post this on Facebook, I post this on Instagram, on YouTube. And I have my soul family on YouTube. One day, by the grace of God, my channel is gonna be bigger. I know people resonate with me because I watch those readers and those chosen ones, those divine feminines and masculines who have very, very similar testimonies as in stories, like how I have. And feel free to to comment, or just if it resonates, if a specific part resonates, just write a comment. It don't matter how long it is. It's really hard to speak your truth after having your own mother, your own family try to take your voice away. It's taken a lot of healing and a lot of work to be able to come on camera and actually speak my truth, my vulnerabilities, my strengths and my weaknesses, my mistakes, my worst moments, and thanking God and my angels and ancestors of the highest white light. I have no support here on this earth, but I have all the support. I have legions of angels, of guides, of warriors behind me who have my back, because I have a very, very powerful, important purpose here for the people on this earth. My son and this purpose and the love of God and my angels and ancestors of the highest white light, that's the only reason why I keep going. There's days that I have nothing left in me to give. A lot of the time. I've learned how to cleanse myself, take those absorbed energies, those energies that I've taken in from people who hate me, from outsiders who are just haters. Evil eye. That's why spiritual cleansing is so important. It's not just spiritual warfare. It's not just in the 5D realm. It's here. And if you're not awakened, you can't see it. Every single person in my whole life has spoken bad about me, has lied on my name. But I know my truth. And God knows the truth. And that's all that matters. God bless you guys and have a good evening.